You're listening to the Ballroom Network. The following program is intended for all audiences. Welcome to the Fantasy Football Goon Podcast with your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, John Santucci, the Tooch, and the man with the plan, Adam Shaw. We're bringing you the fantasy football knowledge that you need every single week.
Derrick Henry still going. He might go. 99 yards for the touchdown. Unbelievable.
Flushed out again all the way back. Turning the corner. Fires downfield. Caught. Touchdown. Only Mahomes turns what might have been a 15-yard sack into a 27-yard touchdown.
Saquon Barkley across midfield. Down the sideline. Stayed in bounds. And Barkley takes it all the way. 68 yards for his first NFL touchdown. McCaffrey right up the middle. And he is gone for the touchdown. 58 yards. This is to Thomas. He's gone. Touchdown Saints.
Okay, it's time for the easiest part of any coach's job, the cut. Now, while I wasn't able to cut everyone I wanted to, I have cut a lot of you. Steven, I like your hustle. That's why it was so hard to cut you. Congratulations, the rest of you made the team. Except you, and you.
God bless fantasy football. There are many things a man can do with his time. And this, better than those things.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to another Sunday edition of Fantasy Football Goon. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Mandel, the Goon, and I'm joined, as always, by my fantasy football brothers, John Santucci, the Tooch, and Adam Shaw, the man with the plan. Gentlemen, happy Sunday. We're ready for some football or what? Thank you for carrying on without me last week. Tooch is on mute.
Now
he's off.
I hit the button. I must have hit it twice. It was a shorter show without you, though, Joe. We didn't get as many of your fans, I think.
Yeah. Oh, yeah?
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, you must bring in the chat room crew.
Yep.
I can take no credit for that whatsoever, but
look at him, he's blushing. Look at him.
Bring a different shade.
Yeah, we usually get a lot of questions when Joe's and
Yeah,
we'll see what today looks like, but lots of stuff on the docket.
Back.
Yeah, back for a week, and then I'm gone again next week. So
is it next week? I told Tooch, I was like, I know he was going to be gone again, but I thought it was down the road. So
yeah, no, it's first vacation with the kiddo. So
all right,
yeah.
I'll
something about princesses or something you said, or
no, that was last week. We went to a meet and greet with Rapunzel, which was a big deal last week.
Okay,
you know?
Right.
But I'll have to get some tips from the Tooch on traveling with a toddler on an airplane. Yep. So
you got you got two now.
We have a second on the way. Yeah.
Depends on if you can have a toddler sit in the lap and save money.
They got their own chair.
You get their own chair. Kids fly free on Frontier Air on certain days for Frontier Airlines. So that's always a good one. It's like $80 a year, $79.99 for the membership.
Nice.
You get the better rates too for Frontier. I fly Frontier just because they have a lot of flights out of Des Moines. So.
Heck yeah, man. Well, we're doing Southwest, so we'll see how it goes.
Southwest is good though too. It's like that's what's like Frontier is just like Southwest,
Well, we're gonna have some fun this week, but appreciate you, gents. But let's dive into the week ahead. Not a week ahead, the day ahead, and the days ahead. Fantasy football in full gear, going into week 4 of the fantasy season. Barlissimo, I know this isn't fantasy advice. We're getting there. We were doing the intro. And speaking of which, we got a fantasy question here from Steven Zimmerman, who so kindly filled in for me last week. Chuba had a big game with Dalton last week. Think he keeps it up? I do. You're going to hear me talk about him a little bit later.
Yep.
And Bellissimo says he picked the Vikings to win outright. I also did as well.
I think I did too. I like to do like a 3-team underdog and just hope that I get 3 upsets. You know, Vikings are one of them.
They just announced Jari Alexander's inactive too, so Justin Jefferson should tear him up now.
Ooh, boy. Yeah, that helps.
Justin Jefferson anytime touchdown scorer bet looks really good.
It's like minus 150 though. There's not a ton of value there, but
it was better earlier in the week. I think I got it minus 120. But
if you're going to use Chuba Hubbard, now's the time because I think Jonathan Brooks is eligible to come back next week.
Yeah, Chuba's got a big day coming. I feel it.
The Bengals are terrible against the run.
Yeah, lots of stuff coming up this week, boys. Inactives list starting to kind of trickle out a little bit. As expected, A.J. Brown inactive and Devontae Smith for the Philadelphia Eagles. So that's big fantasy-wise if you have both of those guys. And some people have both of them. Some don't. But either way, that's going to be a rough one. For the Bucs, not a whole lot of injury concerns there outside of Antoine Winfield Jr. at safety. Not seeing – the rest is kind of starting to pour in now. I'm looking through to see if anything additional may have coming over the wire as we're sitting here. I know we're all waiting about Alvin Kamara.
Joe Mixon's officially out.
Yep, I see that. Mixon.
So's Dameon Pierce.
Yeah, Cam Akers has a good matchup today. We're going to talk about him later on. I feel like I know the last week we had high hopes, but he's got a better matchup this week. I think the Texans bounce back in a big way.
Yeah, I agree.
We got a question here as I go through the inactives. Our buddy John, Debo or Jennings? Do I trust Debo to not get hurt?
I start Jennings. I think just he's hot right now. I know Debo's back, but he's still
word
still
that Alvin Kamara is active for today.
Yep.
Just came over the wire, but
I'm
with you.
I like the parlay, Bellissimo. The Bengals are the only one I don't trust.
And what were you saying, Adam?
I'd probably play it safer with Jennings, I think, today too.
Me too.
Kittle's back as well. Jennings we know is healthy. Debo could easily have a huge game. Don't get me wrong, and I hate not playing Debo, but Jennings we know is healthy. He's been getting the work. He's been getting the targets.
Yep.
I think you stick with that and let Debo get a game under his belt before he goes back in your lineup.
I'm with you. Jennings, we saw him explode last week, and you don't want to miss out on that again because it's a strong potential.
Yeah. I didn't hear that. Did you guys hear that?
I did not.
That was Brandon Ayuk, I think.
I think
it was Ayuk, yeah.
And I know they were talking about Ayuk wearing the wrong shorts this week at practice or something.
Right, that's right, yeah. Kyle Shanahan bagged on him for wearing the wrong color shorts or something?
Yeah.
They were longer, too.
Fit and threw all his stuff on the ground and changed his shorts out there. And it was quite a moment.
Bellissimo. I think you're clicking the same time as me, Tooch. Is it time to panic if you're a Travis Kelce owner? Yes. But Tooch and I and Adam were talking about this earlier this week. And I think, I forget which show it was on ESPN. Somebody was talking about this, but why is no one talking about the fact that, he's just not in game shape? This is a guy that went around all offseason.
That's what I thought, yep.
Traveling with Taylor Swift, doing a lot of drinking, U.S. Open. He filmed a TV show, which is coming out on FX. I have no idea how he even fit that into his schedule, but this is a guy that's wasn't fully ready for the start of the season. So I think it's a long-term stash. Yes, you're going to panic. Yes, you're probably not going to play him for a few weeks. But guys,
I like him today.
He certainly has the upside today. It's a good matchup. But he just hasn't been involved enough for me to be confident to play him. So I think by week 8 or 9, when he's worked himself fully back into game shape, I think that's when he becomes a different player. That said, if somebody drops him, I'm picking him up and I'm stashing him. And don't be that guy to drop him. It is time to panic, but don't over panic.
Yeah,
I don't know, guys.
I
Am I
don't even
speaking
think,
crazy talk?
for me, it's not even panic. It's just worry. You know, you can be worried right now, but I totally agree. The second half of the season is going to be a lot better for Kelsey. But even now, like, no tight ends are excelling really right now. So I'll take my chances with him as much as anybody else, even now. So, but if you're worried, yeah, have somebody else you can play for these next couple of weeks. And I think Kelsey's going to get better and better as it goes on.
I agree. Foster
He's
says he's in
still a
swift
huge
shape.
part of the game. The defense is still planning all around him. I mean, he's still a huge part of the game right now. It's not that he's just obsolete. Like,
right.
Tight ends around the league are down this season for fantasy
everybody.
football.
That's what I mean. I'll still take my chances with him.
Receiving in general across the league is just passing is finally starting to wake up the last couple weeks. But Matty Z's got a great question here. Pick 2 PPR: Wilson, DJ, Deontay. Listen, you're going to hear me talk about this later. Garrett Wilson, for me, is an absolute bench today. Surtain has shut down everybody he's faced.
Yep.
I believe he's held opposing wide receivers to 9 fantasy points or less in every game this season. So I'm not touching Garrett Wilson with a 5-foot pole today. I benched him in every league I have him. So out of these 3, Deontay and DJ for sure. Guys, do you align with me?
I'll take DJ Moore today.
He's picking 2 out of those.
Pick 2? Deontay and DJ, yep.
Adam?
Man, I like all 3 really. I don't know if I can bench Garrett Wilson, to be honest. Deontay Johnson is one of my starts, but I didn't realize he's been dealing with the hamstring, I guess, the last few days. I didn't realize that.
I think it's a groin injury.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's easy to re-aggravate.
He's expected to play, but I didn't realize
that's my worry
this morning.
Yep.
So I don't know. I would probably stick with Garrett Wilson and DJ Moore personally. They're my studs. I would probably play them.
I don't think Rodgers is in sync with Wilson yet. I need to see it first. He's like Alan Lazard has been getting a lot of love from Rodgers. Then Tyler Conklin has been getting a lot of love. I have some shares of Garrett Wilson too, and I'm like, when is he going to pick it up, man? But like versus Surtain, man, it's like today is like it's going to be a tough matchup for Garrett Wilson, and then the Broncos blitz has been pretty good, man, and Aaron Rodgers is virtually a statue back there.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is the Tyler Conklin game today. I really do. We'll see. I picked him up in guillotine for free. Nobody picked him up, so I grabbed him because I lost McBride this week. So,
Bellissimo likes Wilson, yeah.
Yeah,
Surtain doesn't travel all over the place. I agree with Bellissimo here. They can get Wilson away from Surtain in this game. He doesn't just go back and forth and follow one guy the whole game.
Yeah.
That's weird though, because he shut down everybody. The other guys,
it's just the track record's there this early in the season. I know it's early. I know the Packers are different. Aaron Rodgers is back to 5 years ago. Aaron Rodgers, if you're talking to everybody across the media, he certainly looks good.
Yep.
But, I think this is a day that the game plan is going to focus more on the tight end. I do. I don't know why. They're not great against the tight end. I think that's what we're going to see today. It's all good, Adam. It's all good. Dogs happen, man. A-Chain or Connor? That's a great question.
Connor for me.
I prefer Connor. He's got a killer
fantastic matchup today.
Probably Connor as well, yeah.
It's the highest total on the board, too, I think.
And with that said, it's hard to bench either. It's hard to bench A-Chan, too. I don't know who you're playing over him, but I have Connor in every league going, so love that. Let's see. Sully wants to know, Brian Thomas Jr. to have a big day against the Texans secondary. It's a strong possibility. I don't love what I've seen out of Jacksonville, but I feel like they're going to come out really hungry today. And Brian Thomas Jr., I think, is going to be that guy. So I think he's going to have a good day. I don't know if he's going to have a huge day, but I'm still starting Brian Thomas Jr. if I have him.
As he matched up against
Exactly what I was going to say. It's not a huge day, but a very solid day, I think.
Yeah, I mean, the Texans defense is nothing to shake a stick at. They just, I mean, they may have gotten blown up last week, but I don't think that's going to happen every week. All right. I agree.
It's great, man.
Connor goes under the radar constantly, and it's surprising and shocking. I mean, he's been so good, and he's sure he wasn't a big feature last week, but he's going to be a big feature this week because they can't stop. Well, neither team can really stop anybody. So, as Tooch mentioned, highest total on the board.
Yep.
Bucky Irving or Leggett? It's Bucky Irving by a mile for me, gentlemen.
It's tough.
He's been questionable as well. He's been banged up all week too.
Rashad White is back too.
Yeah,
Legett's got a good chance today.
Andy Dalton playing quarterback.
I kind of like Leggett, but
I like him too. I just
Thielen went on injured reserve.
That's true.
Deontay Johnson is going to be the focal point, but he's got a groin injury. And if was it the Bengals playing the Panthers today?
Yeah.
If the Bengals decide to focus, on Deontay Johnson, it's going to be either Leggett or Mingo.
Yeah.
Kind of like Leggett. After Thielen went out, he had like 5 or 6 targets.
Yeah, I think I'd both play Leggett.
I think
both are great options. I'm a big
I love
Bucky Irving guy
too, man. He's awesome.
I think he's way better than Rashad White personally, but
you can run on the Broncos, or is it Broncos? No, they're not playing the Broncos. They're playing the Eagles. You can run on the Eagles though.
Yeah, you can. Kyle wants to know Ford or ETN full PPR. Ford has a great matchup.
I like Ford.
ETN's got a tougher matchup, but then again, ETN is definitely the feature back there. He's been down though.
Jacksonville's
got an injury too.
He's
Dante
Foreman
is back today.
And Jacksonville's offense has been horrible.
Yeah, I like ET. I think ETN's about ready to explode.
I do too. I just don't know if it's going to be today. I like Ford's matchup.
Ford has
today.
a good matchup though. Yeah,
I think one of us has them on the sleeper list, and I can't remember who it is, but I can tell you right now, sleeper.
I just don't like the Browns' offense this year.
Yeah, you're going up against Vegas.
Yeah, Vegas sucks versus the run. They're one of the second worst team against a running back.
I'd probably take ETN.
Yeah,
I probably would still go with him, but I really like Ford's matchup too. Vegas can't stop anybody.
Yeah.
Colts torched their secondary week 1. Yes, they did, and had a lot of guys open. Didn't hit much. Vikings torched them last week. For sure. Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go into our starts and sits, and then we'll start answering questions as they pepper in and out. Officially inactives. But the big news that just came out, Alvin Kamara is active for those of you fantasy owners that were worrying about that, as Adam and I both were. So we're happy that he's playing. But
I'm worried about him playing.
I know.
I figured he was going to play. I'm just worried about that he's going to play very much.
Yeah. In guillotine, I have Williams, so I'm like, oh, that if he happens to go out next week, maybe that'll be good for me in guillotine. But anyway, I haven't been too many leagues for that to happen. Let's go to our QB starts of the week. I will lead things off because I went outside of I tried to pick some that are not generally obvious. I'm going with Baker Mayfield today against Philly. I mean, listen, Tampa Bay has been very good offensively for the most part, not every week, but Baker certainly looks more than competent. He looks better than expected. I know a lot of people had no expectations when he went to Tampa, but he looks good. So I like Baker to have a big day today against Philly, who apparently can't stop anybody right now. Sam Darnold, listen, this is a guy that people were poo-pooing all over. He comes to a competent team with competent play calling, and look what he does. He looked good last year when he was filling in as well. I think the Niners really changed this guy's trajectory. And then he gets a shot here with Minnesota and looks to be their quarterback of the future. Green Bay secondary is not good. As we talked about, they're banged up. Justin Jefferson's going to have a big day. I as Tooch saw, I made some parlays earlier before they announced some of this. I like Sam Darnold 2+ touchdowns today, and I have him over 250 passing yards. I think that should be easily attainable today. Sam Darnold, big day. I picked him up in a lot of leagues, and he's still available in a lot of leagues. This is the last chance you can get him, folks. If you can get him right now, go pick him up. And I'm going to ride the Justin Fields train. Why not? The Colts have been torched continuously over the course of the year, except by the Bears, but that's on par with everything that we've seen so far from the Bears. But I think Justin Fields is going to run wild. I think George Pickens is the guy. He's finally what he has to be. Justin Fields, the Steelers go 4-0. I like Justin, man. I do. I wouldn't start him over like some of the big name top 5 guys, but if you have Justin Fields is inside the top 10 today, no doubt for me. So those are my quarterback starts of the week.
Yeah, I like him a lot. I love Justin Fields today too.
All right, Adam, what do you got, buddy?
Kyler Murray versus Washington. They had a really down game last week. They had like a great opening first quarter, and then just nothing happened after that for the Cardinals. I expect them to bounce back versus Washington secondary, where we just saw Joe Burrow kill them last week and get his bounce back game against them. That was a high scoring game. I think we could see the same thing today with that Cardinals Commanders game.
Kyler's the top quarterback on my board this week, for the record. I'm with you.
Yeah, he should have a great game today, even without Trey McBride. Look for Marvin Harrison Jr. to step up. Joe Burrow versus Carolina defense again. We saw him get on track last week. Now he gets, basically as good a matchup as you can ask for against Carolina with healthy receivers, T. Higgins, Jamar Chase out there. Should be a great game for Burrow. I expect 2 or 3 touchdowns. And then Joe mentioned earlier, C.J. Stroud and Texans, I think, bounced back against Jacksonville. Stroud's due for a big game this week, I think. Even without Tank Dell out there, Diggs should have a great game. I expect C.J. Stroud to go 250 and 3 today.
Oh, yeah. I love it, Adam. Yeah, don't ease the fears of the C.J. Stroud owners. I love it.
No.
And I think it'll ease the fears because
I got the same 3 as Adam today.
Yeah.
Oh wow, I didn't even notice that.
Nothing more need to be said.
Yeah, they're just great matchups.
All good matchups. Yep, all good matchups.
All right, guys. Barlissimo, do you start Stafford today? I
try to avoid it because the Bears are, one of they're top 2. The stingiest team versus the quarterback in fantasy points is the Steelers, with allowing 8.33 points to the quarterback. The Bears are second with allowing 8.67 fantasy points to the quarterback. So I try to avoid it. Maybe there's another guy you can start, but
there's plenty of other guys. I'm not touching Stafford today.
Yeah.
Especially with how reckless he can get when he's getting chased.
The Bears are good against the quarterback.
And if you're a
he will be he probably has to throw a lot, but they do like to get. I mean, with all the injuries, Kyron Williams is the guy that you're looking to stop if you're the Bears defense.
Exactly.
And I think they will. My bet of the day, my prop of the day, Tooch, the 2 of them are from this game. One of them is anytime interception for the Bears defense. And and my top is Kyron Williams under 72.5 yards rushing today.
Got to focus on him today.
Yep. Awesome. Well, good stuff there. Let's get into our running back starts. Tooch, we'll let you lead us off.
All right, Aaron Jones revenge game.
Yeah, big time.
Yeah, I mean, I had him as a sit last week. That burned me. He's just been great. I think they let him have a touchdown against his old team today. You can run on the Packers too, man.
And you can get Tooch. You can get Aaron Jones at 100+ receiving and rushing combined for plus 150 right now. Wow. I love that.
Yeah, not bad. The Vikings, I mean, they have a good chance of winning this game. So I think if they hit Justin Jefferson, get Aaron Jones running, I think it could add up to a victory for the underdog Vikings. Vikings defense is fantastic.
I'm not sure why the Vikings are underdogs, Tooch. I'm having a hard time understanding why.
They're on the road, but
I think they're the
Najee
better
Harris.
team.
I like
Jordan
Najee.
Love's back.
Jordan Love is back too. Yep. Vikings are on the road. Najee Harris today,
Vikings
Jalen
are
Warren. I think Najee has a big workload today, man. Catching the ball, running the ball.
Yeah.
Colts are terrible against the run. So I mean,
Yeah.
Najee's usually like a plotter, like 3 yards a carry guy for me. But today he should be good, man. He's going to catch the ball. He's going to run the ball.
I think it's one of the best plays today.
Yeah, you got to get him in your lineup today, man. Then the Panthers are terrible against the running back. So Zach Moss, he's getting like 70 or 80% of the goal line touches for the Bengals. So if you he's a good to me. If the Bengals are on the goal line, it's going to be Moss. Getting the ball like 7 or 8 out of 10 times. I mean, I like Chase Brown. I think Chase Brown is a good player too, but I think
Zach Moss has been putting up better fantasy numbers than I've realized.
Yep.
Yeah. Andy Dalton
revenge game. Yep.
Yeah, could
and
be.
Next week a revenge game against the Bears. He's on
It's probably going to be in junk time, but yeah, he might put up some numbers against them at the end.
Yeah.
Caleb or Love today? I think that's
Caleb for me.
Neither.
Defense is
I'll take neither. Who else you got, Travis?
I think Caleb has a big game today
for sure.
I think Caleb could easily throw for 300 again today. I don't love the fact that he's going to at least have one interception. I could feel it.
I mean, that secondary for the Rams is really banged up, and the Rams, the quarterbacks are the worst team fantasy points. I mean, for fantasy points for the quarterback position, the Commanders are the worst. 29 fantasy points per game. The next team, the Rams, 25 fantasy points per game for the quarterback position. But today, I love Caleb. But yeah, Vikings are giving up 11 points to the quarterback position per game. So, I mean, for me, it's a no-brainer. I'll take Caleb over Love.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely the better option there. Adam, why don't you talk us through your running back starts?
Well, 2 of them are the same as Tooch's there, Najee and Aaron Jones. Love both of them. I love Najee today. I expect huge workload on that one. And then Breece Hall, I think he has a monster game versus Denver. We were talking about Surtain and stuff earlier. I think Breece Hall is the key to the Jets, opening up the passing game. They're going to run the hell out of it. Breece Hall, and he can catch the ball as well. So I think Breece Hall is one of those guys you can guarantee to get a touchdown today for all your anytime touchdown bets. I think Breece Hall is one of those guys. I think all 3 of these guys are touchdown guys today.
Yep.
Love it, man. Absolutely love it. All right, let's see here. Let's check out mine. My running back starts. Chuba Hubbard. We just talked about him a little while ago. I love him today against Cincinnati. Listen, he looked great with Andy Dalton, and he's just going to see a lot of work. Though they used him a lot, and they're going to use him a lot because Cincinnati can't stop the run. Also love Brian Robinson Jr. against Arizona. As we talked about, that game is going to score a bajillion points. Yep. Robinson gets back on track this week.
No Eckler.
Not that no Eckler. Eckler's out, so he got banged up pretty good.
Looked good, though.
He did look good. The touchdown looked good. And then I like Bucky Irving. This is a guy I've been talking about for quite a while. I think he's going to get the lion's share of the carries today. I know he's a little banged up, but I think Bucky Irving continues to pull away in that 2-horse race. So those are my starts of the week. And let's dive into some questions here. Should the Bears hire me to draft offensive and defensive linemen for them, too?
Yes.
Absolutely.
I would prefer that someone else was drafting than Poles. I don't think he's very good.
Yeah. All right.
He thinks he's good at the offensive lineman thing, but it's not worked out.
Yep.
Tooch, why don't you talk us through your tight end starts?
Yeah, the number 1 tight end this week, I think, is Dallas Goedert. He just has a fantastic matchup today. Buccaneers are terrible against the tight end. Not only that, but their 2 starting wide receivers are out. So who's Baker Mayfield going to throw to? But it's trusting trusty tight end. He had a big game last week, man.
Yeah.
Travis Kelce, I just think he's due. He's so overdue. You know,
He really is.
You drafted him high. No one's trading for him. You know, if he's on your bench, you're gonna be sorry when he gets a couple touchdowns. You know, so I think you got to start him. The Chargers, they're middle of the pack versus the tight end, but I mean, look, it's got to be a regression to the positive pretty soon. You know, here for Travis Kelce. Then Kyle Pitts versus the Saints. I think versus the Saints defense, the players who Cousins look to on first read the most often are London and Pitts. So I think you're going to have a good matchup here for Kyle Pitts today.
Love it, man. Make those owners feel better. Adam, what do you got, buddy?
I agree with Tooch. Goddard's obviously pretty much the number one play this week. And then I also like Cole Kmet. I like how we saw him get way more involved last week, had a big game. I think they're going to need that again. I'm hoping Caleb maybe found a little comfort in that last week and sees that as okay, that's a great go-to option for me, and they can use that again this week. He's just so much better than Gerald Everett. Gerald Everett just does not need to be on the field whatsoever.
Yep.
I mean, Cole Kmet should be out there almost every snap. So I love that today. I mean, a lot of people even dropped him in league, so he was available to grab this week for hopefully people are able to pick him up and get him in their lineup. And then Dalton Kincaid, like Tooch said of Kelce, Kincaid's due for a big game here. I really am shocked he hasn't been used more than he has so far, but with this game with Baltimore, I think you could see a lot of points scored, and Kincaid could serve as that number 2 receiver behind Shakir for Josh Allen today. So I like Kincaid to break out today.
Absolutely, man. Love it. And I've got some lower tier guys that aren't on a lot of people's lists, but I love Zach Ertz today against Arizona. This is a guy that he's consistently getting targets. He's been tight end number 9, I believe, through the first 3 games of the season. He's heavily targeted. He's a safety blanket, and he's going up against a team that can't stop anybody. Zach Ertz primed for a big day today. I feel it in my bones. Same thing with Mike Gesicki. That should say Carolina, but I forgot the R. He's been a heavily targeted guy as well. They're in desperate need of a win. Gesicki's seeing a lot of empty coverage. He's been getting targeted a lot because he's open. And last but not least, Tyler Conklin. Aaron Rodgers has looked his way a lot. And Denver is strong against the wide receiver, but they have been very weak against the tight end. I look for Tyler Conklin to have a touchdown today and 80-ish yards receiving. So that's a win if you're a tight end.
Yep.
Let's see what we got in the chat here. Talk about Greg Dulcich. Yeah,
I had hopes for him early on, and it's kind of disappointed. I had him on Guillotine League the first couple of weeks, and I don't know. Bo Nix has looked a little better, though. Bo Nix is running more than I expected. He ran for like 40, 50 yards last week, I think, and like 9 or 10 attempts. So I don't know. I'd like to see Dulcich. I think Dulcich is a great player.
I do too, man. I do too. All right. Let's see here. Let's move on. Did we go through all the tight ends? Yes, we did. Let's go to wide receivers. Senor Adam, why don't you walk us through what you got?
Marvin Harrison Jr., mentioned him a few minutes ago with Kyler Murray today. No Trey McBride. This is Marvin Harrison Jr.'s chance to have another monster game like he had in week 2. He should just shred up this Washington secondary. Mike Evans, I think, bounces back today versus Philadelphia after a bad game last week. Tampa whole offense was down a little bit last week, and I think Mike Evans – I don't think Philadelphia has anybody that can cover Mike Evans, especially in the red zone. I think he's one of those receivers that's almost sure to get a touchdown today. And then Deontay Johnson, I mentioned him earlier before I knew he had that hamstring or growing, maybe Tooch said it might be. But he's got a ton of targets the last few weeks, especially since Andy Dalton's at quarterback, and they've got to throw it to somebody. Adam Thielen's on IR, I think. Didn't Adam Thielen go to IR?
Yes. Yep, he's on IR.
So Deontay Johnson is the guy there. I mean, I honestly don't even it's him and Leggett now. So Deontay Johnson should see double-digit targets in this game, especially if they're going to
I
play
agree.
from behind, most likely. So big game for Deontay.
That's what all the fantasy owners have been waiting for.
He had a great one last week.
He did. I like JSN today against Detroit. I'm sorry, tomorrow. They've another doubleheader on Monday night. It's baffling me why they continue to do this.
Yeah.
Jackson Smith and Najima against Detroit.
Love JSN today.
This is a guy who's being severely underrated. Detroit is horrendous against the slot receiver. Every slot receiver to go against them so far has absolutely torched them. JSN is going to spend the day in the slot. Look for him to be well over 80 receiving yards. I think he's going to score a touchdown and have 6+ catches. This is the week you're waiting for if you drafted JSN. I was fortunate enough, guys, to get him for $9 in the Guillotine League this week off of waivers. So I felt pretty good about that.
Yeah.
We'll see if it pays off for me. I have Deontay as well. I expect big things for him today. As Adam said, I think he's going to have 10+ targets, probably closer to 12. And he's going to score a touchdown today. And Khalil Shakir, this is a guy who's been going really I don't want to say under the radar, but he's certainly been the most reliable receiver for Josh Allen. As we saw, Baltimore can't really stop anybody through the air. They can stop the run game, but they can't stop anybody through the air. Look for Shakir to have a big day today. I think he's going close to 100 yards with a touchdown.
I wanted to put him in my starts. He would have made it if we're doing 4.
Yeah, right.
Ravens 26 points to the wide receiver position.
Yeah, they're not good. And Tooch, why don't you tell us about your starts?
Yep, George Pickens versus the Colts. Colts give up 26 fantasy points per game to the wide receiver position. They are 6th against the wide receiver, and I like Pickens today. Just a big target for Justin Fields. He's kind of like his Allen Robinson.
Yeah, exactly.
Pickens and Fields loves Pickens.
Yep, big day for George Pickens today. DJ Moore versus the Rams.
Had a couple of big plays called back on penalties that have made his stats not look as great. He had one good game and then a couple low ones that there's been penalties called back on.
And they just missed. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. Could have been huge the whole season.
Yep. DJ Moore versus the Rams. So Rams are 2nd worst against the wide receiver. They give up 30 fantasy points per game to the wide receivers. So I like DJ Moore versus that banged up Rams secondary today. That's why I like the Bears to win this game, man. The number tells you everything. They're like, give me a field goal with the Rams +3. Give me the Rams. I mean, they're coming across country. It's a 10 a.m. game for them. They just came off a huge win versus the 49ers.
Yeah.
It's a classic letdown spot, and the Bears coming off a stupid ass loss versus the Colts. They should have won the game. They're going to be angry. They're at home.
And Tooch, why don't you use this time to tell people about one of your props for this game about Daddy Santos?
Yep. I love Santos. 5 straight games over 1.5 field goals made. So give me Papi Santos over 1.5 field goals at -120. I think he gets you too easy, man.
Yeah, I think that'll be
he
done
might
in the
have
first
3
half.
today. 3, maybe 4 field goals.
Everything
today.
about that Bears game you just said makes way too much sense for that to work out.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I'm reading the data. That's
the mind frame of a 40-year Bears.
Yeah, since Tooch and I both bet it,
50
that
years,
means
50 years.
Yeah, Tooch and I both bet it. That means he's going to miss 3 field goals today.
Yeah, well, last week you remember I asked you guys should I pick Santos or somebody else? I picked Santos first drive. What's he do? Missed field goal. I'm like, son of a bitch. Here we
he
go.
hardly ever misses too.
Yeah, he had missed all season. He rarely misses first one. Boom, miss. I'm like, oh, here we go.
Yep. MHJ versus the Commanders. Like, the Commanders are the worst team against the wide receiver. I don't have to tell you too much else. They're giving up 37 points to the wide receiver position. 37 fantasy points per game. There's plenty of love to go around there for the Cardinals wide receivers. It's just a great matchup for MHJ. I love him. I love his yardage over today. Prop over 73.5 yards today.
Me too.
Nico Collins, another guy I love
easy
over
bet there.
Yep. Nico
And Andy
Collins.
Dalton. Andy Dalton's tuned in, guys. He has a question for us.
All right.
Or just Dalton, but we'll pretend it's Andy Dalton.
No Pittman for me. He's a sit.
Pittman, Waddle, D-Hop, Jameson Williams. Start 2.
Shit, this is tough, man.
Well, it's definitely not Pittman. I don't love D-Hop's matchup today. And the mention he's playing on one leg.
I think it's so hard. That's a tough choice. Fields or Purdy? Purdy's been so efficient, man. He's got a decent matchup against the Patriots, but
I'll take Fields' upside today.
Yeah, Fields has a lot of upside. I go Jameson Williams for me on that, at least. Who are the Titans playing against?
Waddle and Williams probably, but
who are the Titans up against?
They're on Monday night, aren't they? Versus
they're playing the Dolphins.
Dolphins, yeah.
D-Hop put a big dent in Calvin Ridley last week. He actually played pretty good. So
yeah,
I don't know. I'd play Waddle, Williams, and Fields.
That's where I land too.
Yeah, I guess. It's hard to sit Waddle.
Fields and Purdy's going to be pretty close, I think. Either way, I think Purdy's going to get easy a couple touchdowns, but Fields is probably going to get you 40 rushing yards, maybe that makes up for it.
It's tough. A tough call.
Let's get to our defensive starts. Adam, why don't you lead us off? Oh, that's the wrong category. Adam, here you go.
All right. 49ers today versus the Patriots. Patriots just don't present much of a threat of anything, so why not tee off on them and come after Jacoby Brissett or whoever else they end up throwing back there at quarterback. So I like that matchup a lot. And the Jets versus Denver. Jets secondary versus Bo Nix and experience. I think that's a great matchup today. And the Steelers are my favorite matchup against the Colts. We've seen Anthony Richardson be a turnover machine, get some pressure from TJ Watt, and they got the back end to clean up if he throws a bad pass. So I think Steelers defense probably scores today.
I feel you there, buddy. I like that. Tooch, what do you got?
All right, I like the Vikings today versus the Packers. We got Jordan Love coming back from injury. The Vikings, man, I love their defense this year. It's a really tough defense, man. They make you march down the fields looking for a turnover. Make you double-digit drives until you make a mistake. Their pass rush is good. Their secondary is decent. The blitz packages are fantastic. So, it'll be a good game. I think this is. Look, the Vikings. I think they have a great chance to win this game too. Their defense will keep them in it. Steelers versus the Colts. Look, when you have a defense as stingy as the Steelers, especially versus the quarterback, I like the Steelers to force Anthony Richardson. And he threw some dumb passes against the Bears, just terrible. He'll make a mistake. Will Levis and him are the worst quarterbacks for turnovers.
They are the same. They're the same person.
And then give me the Texans versus the Jaguars. Jaguars are struggling. I'll take my chances with that Texans pass rush.
Love it, man. I'm taking the Chiefs against the Chargers today. Again, they're banged up as a whole. The Chiefs defense has been playing better. I like them to force a few turnovers in this game. I'm also taking the Bears against the Rams today. They're just stingy. They're going to make Stafford be reckless and throw the ball on the run, which leads to turnovers. Look for a pick six today. I can feel it. And Titans at Dolphins. The Dolphins, they are a mess without a proper quarterback. I'm stunned they still haven't made a phone call. I have a feeling it's going to get real bad today for them again. So I hope I'm wrong because I have A-Chain and a bunch of legs, but not looking good there, guys. All right, Robert.
I like the slight chance they improve with Tyler Huntley today.
I hope so.
Or tomorrow. I guess it's Monday, isn't it? Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, it's Monday night. Start Shakir or Higgins? Should I start Debo or Aaron Jones? The latter one's simple for me. It's Aaron Jones. He's red hot.
Yep.
The first one, now that's tougher. Higgins got a great matchup. Shakir's got a great matchup.
I'd play Shakir over Higgins.
I'm big on Shakir right now, so I'm riding the Shakir train myself.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's a tough call, man. I flip a coin on either one of those. I kind of like Higgins, though. I mean, I think he's like the Bills have no deep passing game. If it's PPR, I guess you choose Shakir. But if you're looking for touchdowns, I go T. Higgins.
But do you think Buffalo can slow down Baltimore?
I mean, Baltimore could slow down Buffalo.
No, the other way. Because then Buffalo's going to have to keep up, and Shakir may get a bunch of targets.
Or they just run the ball after a while. They were so far ahead.
Yeah.
But Higgins has. I mean, the Panthers are terrible, versus the wide receiver.
Yeah, true.
It's tough, man.
But what's up with
the Ravens are terrible too. I mean, this is.
What's up with the guy with the weird name, Oasivas or whatever his name is for
Yosevas?
Yosevas?
Yeah, what's up with that guy? That guy looks pretty good, and he's getting all kinds of looks.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's a tough call here. I think you flip a coin. Yeah, I think you flip a coin.
Yeah, either way, they're both good plays. I like
both good plays today. Yeah, both good plays.
What
today.
if I have to? If I have a decision like this and I can't make up my mind, I go with the guy who's on the better team. Who's the better team?
Yeah, the Bills. Yep,
it's Buffalo. Yeah. So I'm taking
Buffalo's the best. Might be the best team in the NFL right now.
Yeah. All right, let's see here. Olave or Zach Moss in flex?
Olave's got a bad injury right now, man. He injured his hamstring on Friday. I don't trust him. I take Zach Moss.
And plus, Zach Moss has a great matchup. Even if they were both healthy, I'd probably go Moss today.
Yeah, and it's only half PPR, so I'd stick with Moss.
Yep.
All right, guys. Let's get back to our. Did I get through all the defense starts? Yeah, I did. Let's get to our sleepers here. Adam, we'll let you lead us off.
Red Rifle.
The Red Rifle versus Cincinnati, revenge game, possibly playing from behind. It's not going to be pretty, but it can be that Kirk Cousins type of stat line where you put up a bunch of yards and gets a couple touchdowns and, guillotine league or something like that. He could get you by this week, I think. And then Jerome Ford, we talked about him earlier. I think he's got a good matchup versus Las Vegas. He's still going to be the main guy right now. Deontay Foreman, a lot of people seem to think he was going to, be the guy there for a week or two there, and I don't see that happening at all. And Nick Chubb's window's open to start returning to practice this week as well. So, but Jerome Ford today with a good matchup versus Las Vegas, he should get a lot of touches. And then George Pickens, we talked about. I love the matchup today. I think he's quietly went under the radar because of a couple of bad weeks due to penalties called back. So that's why he's a sleeper for me, even though he would be starting most weeks for me.
Love it, man. I think Pickens is going to have a big day. I feel it. Tooch, give us your sleepers.
All right. Like I said, I like Caleb today versus the Rams. They're banged up in the secondary of the Rams, and they're just not good against wide receivers. So I think he's got a good matchup today. He's pretty much the Bears' whole offense.
Really hoping he got confidence from that last week.
Yep,
Even if it wasn't the prettiest game, just getting comfortable throwing it that many times and just seeing the plays happen, hopefully that just makes him more comfortable today.
Yep. No Devontae Adams for the Raiders. So give me Trey Tucker as a deep sleeper. Had some good looks last week. I think he finished with almost 20 fantasy points. There's also Jacoby Myers had a big game too. So I think the Raiders might be they can't run the ball, so they've been throwing the ball. So I think you can look at the Raiders wideouts here as sleepers, and then Cam Akers has got nobody, even Mixon and Pierce out. Why not? He's going to get a lot of touches.
And the Jags stink.
Yep.
You brought up Devontae.
Guillotine.
What's that?
I'm using Cam Akers and Guillotine today.
There you go. It's a good
good play. Yeah.
I got him Rico Dowdle playing for me this week.
Dowdle had a pretty good week.
And he had a touchdown, so.
All you can ask for.
Tooch, you brought up Devontae Adams. I figure we should address the situation here. There's a lot of rumblings this week about him potentially getting traded, having a lot of issues with coaching staff over there, magically showing up on the injury report. this is something that I would usually expect Devontae to play through. I think there's more going on behind the scenes. The Jets are the odds-on favorite right now to trade for him, which I actually think would help Garrett Wilson owners, by the way. But I'm curious to see how that plays out. Don't know what you guys think about that, and if there's smoke where there should be fire, or vice versa. What do you think, guys?
Did they mention the team?
They've said the Jets are the favorite right
Jets.
now.
Okay, Jets are the favorite. Makes a lot of sense, man. Hook him back up with Rodgers, right?
Yeah, I mean, it made sense last year, and then Rodgers got hurt, so it kind of went out the window. So it definitely makes sense. I hate to think that Devonta Adams is the guy that would do that, like fake an injury for it. That's kind of disappointing if true.
Yeah.
But
I don't think fake an injury is the right term. I think the Raiders are saying that and having issues with him and the coaching staff is what I think is happening.
Yeah, that could be true. Yeah.
Some of those Antonio Pierce
I think there's a high probability of it happening. I'm not sure how soon it'll happen, but I think by the end of the year he's going to be in New York Jet.
Yeah, if you watch any of those Antonio Pierce press conferences, they're like, "What's the status of Devontae Adams? Out. What's the status of Max Crosby? Out. So and so out. So and so out.
What's your status?
Right. Out. Yeah, I'm out." So that was wild. Getting to my sleepers, I also have the Red Rocket today. Love his matchup against his old team. Revenge games are always good. Carson Steele, I like him as a sleeper because he filled in really well for Pacheco last week.
Yeah, good runner.
I expect him to do a lot of damage today against the Chargers, get some goal line carries. I think he gets his first NFL touchdown.
I like it.
So sleeper material, but I like it.
I love this next pick.
And Michael Wilson for Arizona. With Trey McBride out, you're going to see this guy getting a lot more targets. He's gotten targets over the last few weeks, and that's going to go up. Explosive young player. Love me some Michael Wilson. This might be the only opportunity to get him because if you wait until after the end of the game, he's going to be a high priority waiver claim this week. So
I like that too.
Pick him up.
And another one I was going to mention, kind of similar to Michael Wilson, I forgot, was Jahan Dotson today. Man, he could get, like Tooch mentioned, A.J. Brown's out, Smith's out. It's Goddard. Jahan Dotson's pretty much the number one receiver. And I think he's got betting like 2.5 receptions you can bet. Like, I think he's going to get at least 3 receptions for sure.
Yeah. Faux show. All right, guys. We have our sits coming up here, but let's see what's going on in the chat room because it's been going wild here. Who has the most passing yards today, Fields or Williams? Williams has more passing yards today, but more fantasy points. I'm going to go with Fields on more fantasy points because he's going to use his legs.
Yep.
He says Jacoby moving out to the slot today because no Adams. Yeah, I don't know how that's going to help him or not. I'm going to find out real soon.
Like the Raiders just in general are just not even on my fantasy radar whatsoever. Like, even with Devontae Adams, like I'm just not interested.
Ferociously typing the Tooch. I like it.
No kidding. I was like, my God.
Violence. Straight violence.
Yeah, I mean, check the private chat. I have to. It's unfortunately.
No, it's all good, man. We're getting ready to wrap anyway, man.
Okay.
And Adam, I didn't even ask you, Adam. Do you have to leave for work today or no?
Yeah, I got to get out in just a minute.
All right. Well, then we'll start to wrap things up. We'll get through our sits and answer a few more questions, and then we'll skedaddle. Adam, why don't you give us your sits for today?
I'm worried about Brandon Ayuk today versus New England. We talked about the scuffle there with the coach this week with Shanahan, and we got the other receivers back. You know, we're talking about Kittle's back, Debo's back. I also think Ayuk. When I did this, I didn't know Kittle was going to play, and I was expecting Ayuk to get that Christian Gonzalez treatment most of the game, which he's the strength of New England's defense. So, very good young corner. So I'm a little worried about Ayuk. He's been terrible all season so far. You know, you can tell he wasn't in training camp, and I don't know. I think it's a tough matchup for him. And then DeAndre Swift, my God, this guy, he's so bad. He's so bad.
I
Like
know.
he's a good pass catcher, but he is
Cuts the wrong direction every time.
He's a horrible running back. Like he's just absolutely horrible. He can catch the ball and he's fast, and that's it. You cannot count on him in your fantasy lineup right now. I actually like Roschon Johnson today. Like he's got like a 30-yard rushing line or something. I actually like him to beat that today.
He's going to get an extended look today, is what I'm hearing. So
yeah, I mean, I think he was getting 4 yards a carry last week when DeAndre Smith was getting like 0.8 yards a carry. Roschon would come in and get 4 yards. It's like, what are we doing here? And Roschon's got good size too. That's the thing.
Yep.
Like, get him out there and let's see what he can do for a whole game. Give him the workload and let's see what happens. So
I agree.
DeAndre Swift's a no-go until something changes. I don't see that happening.
He's the third down back for me.
You can trade him for anything, do it.
Passing situations are third down. Third and long, second and long, you bring in Swift.
Yeah, he's useful for that, but he is not the running back, the starting running back.
2-minute drill.
Anthony Richardson's on my bench this week again versus that Pittsburgh defense. We've seen him have just some terrible games already, and if he doesn't hit that big 60-yard play or whatever, you're not going to get the fantasy points you're looking for, I don't think. So this is about as tough a matchup as you can get for a defense or for a quarterback, and I love Pittsburgh today against him.
Yep.
And Tooch also has.
They're the stingiest team versus fantasy points versus the quarterback. Michael Pittman Jr. versus the Steelers too. I just think if Richardson's going to be, down a little bit, you got Michael Pittman versus Joey Porter Jr. Don't like the matchup. And then Charbonnet versus Lions with Kenneth Walker coming back today.
I want Michael Pittman to come take Keenan Allen's role next year for the Bears.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe.
Be down for that. Yep.
I got Matthew Stafford against the Bears defense today. I expect him to throw multiple interceptions. And a pick six too. I'm predicting a pick six as well today. Listen, I talked earlier about Garrett Wilson. Tough matchup against Patrick Surtain. Against Denver, has been shutting down top-tier wide receivers. I think that continues today. I'm staying away from Garrett Wilson. I know it's tough to do. And also, I'm going to bench Hunter Henry today against San Francisco. They're good against the tight end.
The best in the NFL.
They're the best in the NFL. And also, Kittle's coming off the injury. I'm sorry. I'm thinking about talking about the other tight end. But Henry certainly is going to be fighting for his life today. So
might not have a choice though if you with the tight end position being a wasteland and so many injuries. You might not have a chance. Might have a choice. You might have to start Hunter Henry like me.
It's a wasteland no matter what.
I think San Francisco is just going to kill the Patriots today.
Yeah. About 10.5 point favorites.
Bellissimo wants to know about Raiders. Brock Bowers.
I love Bowers. Is he injured though?
He's playing as far as I know.
Love him today.
I mean, he's a top 5 tight end the whole season as long as he's healthy. So and that's not hard to do these days, but he's certainly going to be that guy moving forward.
He's right at the top almost.
But guys, we are approaching kickoff. We're going to get out of here because Adam and Tooch both got to bounce. And
unfortunately,
perfect timing anyway.
I had a 12 o'clock appointment, but they're like, "We're going to be here early. Are you?" They're like, "Well, all right."
It's all good, man. It's a thing of beauty. Adam, good luck at work. Tooch, good luck with the contractor, and all of our listeners, good luck in your fantasy matchups this week.
Yeah.
For Fantasy Football Goon, I'm Joe Mandel the Goon. That's John Santucci the Tooch. And below is Adam Schaum, the man with the plan. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you next week. And as always, of course, I have the wrong credits in here, but we're going to play them anyway. Why not? Have a great weekend. Go Bears. God bless America. God bless football. And let's kick some ass. See you guys next week. Adios.
Adios.